Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for stopping by. So, my people, Igbophobia is real in Nigeria. So, this video I posted last time where Chief Ikenga Ugochinyere asked Tinubu, "What has Ndi Igbo done to you? You have the power to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but you have deliberately refused to do so. The same way you have freed the minors from the north who were illegally imprisoned. You should also free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu." So, that video has been trending, and in this particular one, Maya go really analyze everything, because through all this video it helps us to sanitize our minds, even especially those Igbos that are still blaming Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that he is the cause of the insecurity in the southeast, knowing fully well that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was fighting for the freedom of Ndi Igbo. And it is quite unfortunate that even Ndi Igbo are still blaming Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, knowing fully well that that insecurity in the southeast is man-made. Federal government, they are definitely aware of what is happening there. Let me not even talk too much, because when Tinubu entered into office, we believe that Tinubu is going to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu like immediately. But it's quite unfortunate that up to now, we are still talking about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu freedom. It is really, really a shame. Let me allow you guys to listen and hear what Mayego said in this particular video. Like, you guys really need to watch the video. You need to share it so that our brothers and sisters will get opportunity to watch as well, because Mayego really opened the eyes of Igbos. Like, God will continue to bless this man for saying it as it is, for always speaking truth to the power. Let me allow you guys to watch and hear everything that he said here. But before then, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Share the video just as I said before, so that everyone will get the opportunity to watch this video. Don't forget to give me thumbs up as well, and thank you so much for doing so.
We shall be addressing again Nigeria and the existing Igbophobia. Somebody once said, an intelligent man once said that Nigeria have Igbo problem. We have a system where majority of Nigerians who have been indoctrinated with what is called Igbo problem. Usually people will tell you that the people don't have any problem with themselves. The criminal politicians are those who continue to keep us divided. But that is not entirely true. A lot of us who are from other parts of Nigeria today would not deny one time or the other in our lives how we have been told to be careful of that next Igbo guy. Whether we lived to believe that or not, it's a different conversation entirely. But there is a systemic profiling of the Igbos in Nigeria, even though evidently the only group of ethnic group that have shown that they actually believe in Nigeria more than any other ethnic nationality in that contraption, either tribe or ethnic, has been the Igbos only. There have been those who have confidently, religiously invested in other parts of Nigeria than their own region. You have more Igbo businessmen outside Igbo land. This could be by the systemic design that intentionally underdeveloped the region, diverted what should have been evenly distributed development across the entire country, denying them their own seaports. Officially, I know some will be like, I've heard some ignorant people who have said, hey, is it the federal government that stops you from having your own seaport? Is it the federal government that stops you from and all of that stuff? This is out of a total shared ignorance. There is an unwritten Cold War that the system, the corrupt, divisive, backward Nigeria system has continued to maintain. If I say some things now, some of you out of shock will be like, really? Are you sure? I am very sure. Would you believe it that there is no single federal government completed project in the entire eastern part of Nigeria since 1960? I used 1960 because that's when you started, Abi. Then maybe you should fast forward to 1970 then. There is an intentional sort of state, that's what they call it, Nigeria have one problem, and that problem is Igbo problem. So, Ikenga, Ugo Chinyere, I love to call him Ikenga, again, spotted this in his recent presser. But before I get to that, let me repeat that again. As much as the Igbos have always been clamoring for a referendum of leaving Nigeria, they have been peacefully demanding for that. The Nigerian criminal system criminalized self-determination. They went on to kill thousands of them. This is a recent history. They went on to kill thousands of them in order to scare others away. They continue to threaten them because a lot of those who carried out the genocide called the Civil War in Nigeria between 1967 and 1970, majority of them got compensated. They were never tried for their crimes against humanity. A lot of them went on to become head of states, ministers of this. Some even went on to become military governors inside that contraption. They got away with it. Therefore, there was never a real reconciliation or closure. And every little thing, the Igbos will be threatened. You want us to kind of deal with you again, or we will deal with you again. If like say you never learned your lesson, it has always been a recurring one. But it's only the Igbos who have shown, if you have to put everybody on the pedestal, who have shown that they've actually put behind the evil genocidal war. They've invested trillions of your money, naira, outside their region. But the marginalization continues until a young man who is kind of no longer, it's not growing younger, named Mazi, Nnamdi Kanu, decided to begin to raise the subconsciousness of the Igbos and what they stand to lose if Nigeria should come back for them again. Because Nigeria, that has the Igbo problem, has not healed. Nigerians haven't healed from the what they call the inconclusive, or like the genocide that was probably not concluded at the time. The likes of Boko Haram came back to repeat that they would love to shed more blood if the Igbos are not careful. And this means the likes of Nnamdi Kanu was considered a dangerous person because he has been able to remind the Igbos what and their place in Nigeria, even as many of them continue to live in denial. But there is a Cold War where they continue to be the target of the system. Some have learned to live, to live with that, because to them, it's probably nothing they can do. When we were growing up, there's this popular sort of narrative, right? It's saying though, Nigeria is Wa, Zo, and Bia, meaning the three major ethnic nationalities in Nigeria are the Yorubas, the Hausas, and the Igbos. But a lot of that has changed over time, or they try to change a lot of that over time. So you have the Yorubas, the Hausas, which have now turned to probably like Fulanis now, all right? So the Hausas and the Yorubas, in Nigerian setting, they can lead Nigeria. In fact, they have been leading Nigeria. So wherever Nigeria is today, you can give the credit, wherever the destructive set of where Nigeria is today, you can give that credit to the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis. But the third part should have been the Igbos. But children have been raised, especially in northern part of Nigeria and the western part of Nigeria, that the Igbos cannot be trusted with power. They have to build bridges. So a young man rose and reminded everybody in Igbo land that they actually deserve better. Okay? You don't have to beg. You do not have to lick asses just because you want to be counted among in Nigeria. The Biafran struggle is an unfinished one since there was never a closure. Those who massacred their women, children, they ended up being like rewarded. And to this day, they are still willing to do more. In fact, they are doing same thing. So why don't you just let's leave this contraption? You are never going to be accepted per se. Of course, you can continue to play the third fiddle, continue to be third-class citizens in a union that was supposed to be everybody's of equal rights. You know that's not true. It is not true that the Igbos have the equal rights like everyone else in Nigeria. Those who destroyed Nigeria have not been held responsible for the destruction, but those who have never been part of it are held in high expectation that they have to do more. So it now became as if to say the Igbos are begging to be accepted in a union that was supposed to be of equal representation, equal rights, equal privileges. So Nnamdi Kanu appealed to the mind and the heart of the young Igbos and old alike that the marginalization of the Igbos in Nigeria became so obvious that you can't hide it. They couldn't hide it. So he became an household name himself, where he kept pushing that all the Igbos want from Nigeria is a referendum. That those who still want to be part of Nigeria, they are free to be. And those who don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore, they should be given a voice to actually express it. So that the Igbos won't be in competition with you anymore, since they are never going to get the equal right in this union. You know, it's supposed to be a union, right, where everyone kind of have the equal rights. But there is this unwritten code where the Igbos, especially, the people from the eastern part of Nigeria, are continually, right, discriminated against. They cannot be trusted with power. It's there. They have to do more than the Fulanis that destroyed Nigeria, than the Yorubas that collaborated with them to destroy Nigeria. I'm saying this because that's a fact. All right? So the Igbos are expected to build bridges, to be trusted, simply because of that genocidal war. Nnamdi Kanu, therefore, was kidnapped, arrested and kidnapped for treason. He's been charged for trying to break up Nigeria. Not just that, he was also charged, he was being charged as well for trying to overthrow Bukwari. But no evidence of that. He has been, he was illegally, extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya 4 years ago. And no single trial has been allowed in their own courts. So, Ikenga, yesterday, who was having a bit of reaction, or kind of a reaction to the recent development where northern children were kidnapped by Tinubu and his gang for demanding for a better country, for demanding for good governance, in a protest that was tagged End Bad Governance. So it became an uproar. Yeah, the whole world reacted. How could you lock minors up for months for demanding for a better country? So it became a national embarrassment that as quick as possible, they said Tinubu ordered them released. Wow. So Ikenga picked on that and said, what exactly is the crime of the Igbos in Nigeria that a man that was taken to court, your court, defeated you in your own court, that said he should be let go, you should release him. And then they are finding it so difficult to let him go up to this moment. So Ikenga is a guy that is going to open the conversation for us this evening. We shall start from that. Dear brethren, here we go.
I will commend the president for, it takes a lot for a leader to realize that he has made a mistake and then immediately correct it. So I'm so happy that the president realized that that was a huge national embarrassment, if not international embarrassment, and then moved in to correct it immediately. Even while some hanger on were even trying to justify it for him. This, you can see why at times leaders, you know, get into this part of shame at times, because we have some supporters who are very shameless. But I thank God that he didn't listen to those, you know, hungry, people I call hungry outlaws, who were trying to justify something that was an international embarrassment. So I commend the president for being bold enough to, you know, issue the necessary knowledge and the court striking it out, bringing an end to that embarrassment. And I don't want it to just end there. I think he needs to find out, because those children were starved. So what kind of barbaric and archaic and mundane method of detention? And that goes a long way to show a lot might be going wrong with those detention facilities. It's also important an investigation is conducted to find out the status of these detainees facing different charges. It's like a kind of is it a confiscation site or what? You know, you don't feed them. Look at the way they are looking so tiny, like they are coming out from a civil war or something. So it's an embarrassment, and it goes a long way to show how our detention system have been working. So it should be seen as an opportunity to fix things and correct things. And I thank the president for being bold enough to say that what happened was not right, and then going ahead to ensure that immediately these children were released. But going, you know, apart from that, we should also investigate the status of other detainees in different cases and challenges in those detention facilities, to be sure that we are complying with international African Charter on Human Rights and our relevant constitutional provision that an accused is deemed innocent until proven guilty. So you can't use starvation to kill the person even before he's made to have his day in court. And I think I will join to this by also pleading with the president the same way he reacted and responded to the feeling of Nigerians and international community by discontinuing the embarrassing trial of these minors. He should also listen to the pleas from eminent Nigerians, eminent Igbo leaders, eminent, you know, individuals in different parts of the country, lawmakers and so on and so forth, who has at one time or the other called on the president to embark on the path of political solution in the Mazi Nnamdi Kanu case by discontinuing the trial. So you can see by what the president did in the minors case, he has exercised his constitutional power through the Attorney General under Section 174 thereabout to discontinue any criminal trial, even treason that has a murder charge at any stage of that trial. So now that you have invoked it for this case that we are charged for treason, also invoke that the same Section 174 thereabout in the case of Mazi Nnamdi by discontinuing the trial. The trial has brought, so it has prolonged the return to the path of peace in the East. It has cost the East so much, it has even cost the country so much. There is so of insecurity, there is loss of life, there is killing, there is destruction going on left, right, and center with accusation and counter-accusation surrounding it. What a listening president will do is to say, okay, let's find a political solution, and which is to discontinue the trial of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, release him on bail, and then embark on the path for finding sustainable solutions to those security challenges. Remember, under Section 14, the primary responsibility of government is the protection of lives and property. So why do we have government? If government cannot protect lives and property, if government cannot listen to the people, if government cannot do things that can bring stability, then it's not government. So what I'm saying in effect is that this is a government, and they should live up to their responsibility by listening to what the people are asking for. When we had challenges in Niger Delta, when the bombing of oil pipeline, kidnapping of oil workers, killing of oil workers, there's a lot of atrocities that was happening then, whether right or wrong. But government, because they know their responsibility, their economic responsibility and their welfare responsibility, embarked on a peace-building effort that led to the resolution of the Niger Delta crisis, that led to the issue of Niger Delta military, different agencies that were put in place, amnesty and so on and so forth, all aimed at finding lasting solution. Even the security and pipeline contract was also given to Niger Delta people, and a lot of incentives that was given to Niger Delta people, and peace returned. And then when you had challenges in North Central, Buhari government was tinkering around grazing route, farm settlement, and all sorts of things, even though some of them people didn't find it funny. Those one that has to do with taking away people's land, because they believe that some of the businesses that are leading to this conflict are private businesses, so they should be handled the same way private businesses are doing. But government still went extra mile for that to say, okay, let's see how we can help them as Nigerians to be able to do their business in a way that it is less criminal and so on and so forth. So government did that. Even as bad as Boko Haram issue that has to do with somebody waking up because of whatever belief, killing people, beheading people, that is a heinous crime, bigger than even treason. But still, government went on negotiations at different times. Government went on rehabilitation. Imagine rehabilitating a murderer that enjoys beheading. But government still was doing it because government wants lasting and sustainable solution. Now, issues that were, triggered by injustice and unfair treatment and exclusion and so on and so forth, leads to this agitation in the East. Up till now, the federal government has not sit down on the table to discuss with Southeast leaders and Southeast youth. This even goes a long way to show that they don't care about what happens to the East. They don't care about us. They don't care whether we'll survive. They don't care whether we are dying or whether we're killing ourselves. In a country that today, whether you like it or not, we are the biggest investors outside our region.
We'll come back to that, Ikenga. Just like I said it, no matter which side of the pendulum you probably belong, I am not saying that there are not many of you, including those who are Igbos themselves, that would prefer that Nnamdi Kanu is locked away forever, especially their elite and some ignorant Igbos who probably don't live in Igbo land themselves. So them, whatever they said, or they are saying that Nnamdi Kanu did, and he probably did it. And whatever the propaganda has been, that they have been fed, but there are some other lines that we should not ignore. And that is the lines of their law, legality. Even if you want him killed, at least you have to kind of have something to justify that. And say, oh, it was because Nnamdi Kanu kidnapped people and he was holding guns, he was killing and shooting, he's a terrorist or that. At least you must have evidence of that. There was none. Their intention initially was that maybe he happened to be, they thought Nnamdi Kanu was just one of those noisemakers, attention seekers, or maybe people who are one of those who are looking for easy money. Until they found that his agitation is so valid, so legit, that it couldn't actually be bought. I think that is one of the reasons why it has become so impossible for them to sit and have a real, they are like a Kenga put it, a real negotiation that will be like a road, pathway to peace. The other one is the Igbo problem that Nigeria have. The Igbos have the biggest and the highest contribution to the Nigerian economy than any other tribe or any other nationality in Nigeria. If you have to put all of their own investment in Nigeria, I'm using Nigeria now, because there's no part of Nigeria that you will not see the Igbos. And they are not there as scavengers. They are there as investors, small, big, medium, name it. They are there. These are supposed to be people that if they actually really hate Nigeria to start with, there will be more in their region and never anywhere in any other part of Nigeria, especially with what happened to them in 3 years of state-sponsored or country-sponsored genocide against them. That they were supposed, you see, in Nigeria, if you read Nigeria history very well, those who went on that campaign of genocide against the Igbos, if you read your history very well, they did this mostly from the position of a vendetta, position of a like institutionalized hatred. Because if it was just about we want this, you can have it, or you can go to hell with it or stuff like that. There was no reason for any sort of killings to start with. But the whole intention was let's destroy them as much as possible. But they're like indestructible. So this were supposed to be the people that should never, ever be found in any part of Nigeria. They can be found in other part of Africa because they are the most traveled group from Nigeria, the most traveled ethnic group from Nigeria. And wherever you find them, it's always about investment, business, and what have you. The Yorubas don't go that far. We don't. We do travel. We are probably the second most traveled people as well. You'll find us almost everywhere too, but not like the Igbos. So, the political class in Nigeria, especially the Igbo elites themselves, who have always been the people I kind of refer to as the house niggers of Nigeria. Majority of them have, over the years, they have fought and warmed themselves into the hearts of some of these non-Igbos in Nigeria. And some of them have denied their Igbo loyalty, so to say. They love being Igbos, okay? But when it comes to the Igbo marginalization, they are always mute, deaf and dumb as well, intentionally. Some of them have all it takes, right, to give Igbos respect that the Igbos deserves in Nigeria. But they would rather protect whatever Nigeria has managed to kind of allow them to have and keep. I consider them the Igbo elite. I consider them as the set of people that work so hard to make everything, to get to where they are today. But somehow, they still feel like without the benevolence of their Yoruba friends, their Hausa friends, who actually hold the levers of power in Nigeria, they will not be where they are. That's the way I see them. They do not have, with the level of wealth that is ascribed to the Igbo race, the Igbo elite, you will never believe that they will be among those that will be so quiet in the face of so much disrespect, marginalization, against their own tribes, against their own race, inside that contraption. They are friends of all these powerful, supposed powerful non-Igbos in Nigeria. And whatever it is, they will be like, just mute and quiet. Yorubas are, when you see the Yoruba elites, right, they are very much loud. And sometimes, right, they are pretty much so entitled as well. They don't even have to be as rich as some of these Igbo elites. But you won't see any Igbo elite, Igbo billionaire, Igbo multimillionaire in any way stand up to some of these bullies from outside the Igbo land. So if you are, for any reason, decided like Nnamdi Kanu did, to stand up to them, Nnamdi Kanu didn't even actually stand up to these guys in Nigeria. He only kind of, it was like a stopgap between the common Igbos, right? The Igbo elites, and then Nigeria. Which, as much as it earned him so much admiration and respect, it also earned him so much hatred and enmity. Most of this enmity comes from the Igbo elite, who feels like Nnamdi Kanu's action is a threat to what they have managed to secure from Nigeria. Some that, even though they are like these hardworking people, they still feel like Nnamdi Kanu's action threatens what Nigeria has allowed them to own. So they would rather keep quiet or even support his extermination. Let Kenga continue.
Our region. How many of the regions have massive investment in other regions? That means the Igbo man is one that even believes in the sustainability of the Nigerian project. That is why he can invest in a zone or a land where he does not come from. So, but just ordinarily sit down and let's find a solution. Because the root cause is also rooted to these issues of exclusion. Injustice that have spanned for decades. And the more you are alienated, the more you tell the ones that are growing that you are not wanted. And that's why you see the result to all these crises that have brought instability. Now, instead of finding a way to calm nerves and restore it, you go about showing them, I don't care about you. So I'm using this as I'm commending the president for freeing discontinuing the treason charges against those kids. We're also begging him that exercise the same constitutional provision under section 174 thereabout, and let the Attorney General issue a knowledge and discontinue the trial of Mazi. And especially at the time that the judicial system has made conclusive pronouncement at different times, Federal High Court, different court, that this trial has no legal basis. At least in these cases there have been final pronouncement, but you're still fighting and must prove that he's guilty. That means hate. That means we hate the tribe. Because there's judgments of court that have said, release him. The invasion of his house was an attempt to assassinate and kill him. Everybody saw the day the people invaded. There was no cause for that. And the people were beheaded and killed and massacred in tens. And the man ran for his life. And he did not run away or jump there. He invaded somebody's house. Just like the time those murderers from my area, in the name of politics, invaded to attempt to behead me and killed some of my family members. Didn't we flee? At the end of the day, when we were able to survive, I will going to, even if I was on bail, I should keep the head so that they can cut it off like ancient Greece. So the man have to run to survive. And then the extraordinary rendition is unknown to our law. It was a clear case of kidnap and abduction, which the court have also declared as illegal. So I've been issued there's even no trial. So why is Nnamdi still in detention? Because he's an Igbo man. That's why you have the same another traditional ruler that is kept in Lagos prison that the Lagos State government is trying. Because he said, if you don't stop attacking our businesses, if you don't stop killing our people, we are going to bring help to defend our place. Instead of you dealing with the hate that your people are projecting there in Lagos, that is leading to killing of our people, burning of our businesses, because we are exercising our constitutional right to either vote or choose leaders. You went after the traditional ruler who spoke in defense of their people, because an Igbo person. Other people in that same Lagos, both the traditional ruler has called for genocide against our people. None of them were charged. But he now said that if we don't stop burning this market that Igbo people are trading, if we don't stop throwing us into lagoon, if we don't stop attacking our people, that I will invite the ESN to come and defend the people in Lagos. That's what he said. And then all of a sudden, they dump him in court. They are prosecuting him, and they have dumped him in Kirikiri. That our traditional leader is still in Kirikiri for almost 3 years now or more. They're not ready to prosecute him. Someone left him there. Because an Igbo man. So if we want to be one Nigeria, we should be honest and stop being stupid about the lies. In Igbo, they say, when you do the child the way you're doing this other child, they will be happy. Are you doing us the same? You're not doing us the same way. Do we want to build a country, a nation, or are we running a geographical expression like our world was so said? If we want to build a nation, that even though the tongues and religion may differ, but in brotherhood we can still stand, then you have to behave like a family, like a brother. You resolve the Igbo issue. Don't pretend like you don't know it's existing. You will not have stability. Let us see ourselves as one honestly and root it on that principle of justice, equity, and fairness. If you know what if they do to you, not like, why are you doing it to an Igbo person? So it's on that ground that I'm asking the president that is long overdue. It's time to respect those judgments of the court and stop this judicial. The court freed him. You went again. You fight another. No, it's not necessary. We're looking for peace and stability. 70% of our people today will take Mr. President seriously when he talks about building a nation, uniting our people, bringing us together, making us to believe that he's about to renew hope, which includes justice. You have to renew my faith in the justice system, in the equity system, in the fairness system. That our people, 70% of our people believe that if President wants us to take him serious, he should first of all release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and find a way to go to the table to find a permanent political solution to the challenges facing our people. Then we can take him serious. That's the way our people feel. Any of the Igbo leaders can come to Abuja and be lying to him. Those ones I call outlaws. They can be saying all sorts of nonsense. But down there in our place, they want this issue resolved. So that our people can now pick up what is left of their lives and move on. Our region. How many of the regions have massive investment in other regions?
Are you following this? Good. I have said it before that the problem that Nigeria have is called the Igbo problem. And to make it worse, a lot of you are always living in denial of it. If you have a union, and they said there are 3 largest ethnic groups in this union, the Hausas, the Yorubas, and the Igbos. Then one of the largest group in the union is ganged up against, but they can't complain. They can't talk about it. They are to be seen, never to be heard. An Igbo man, the Igbos cannot fall into the category of those to be seen, never to be heard. A lot of you are alive, and you are still alive today, where it is mostly pronounced. You see, before now, let me say this, right? Before now, the people in charge of Nigeria, they did a very good job in hiding this Igbophobia from a lot of us. It only became more pronounced when APC, Egbekegbe, gained power in Nigeria. It's always been there. It's called Cold War, but it was never this pronounced. So when Nnamdi Kanu started talking about the marginalization, and he kept talking about this hatred against the Igbos, some people were like, they didn't believe it. I'm talking about those who are even Igbos themselves, who have suffered institutional marginalization in Nigeria. They didn't see it as a big deal. Any small thing, an Igbo man will tell you, well, I'm not interested in politics or leadership or anything. An Igbo man is interested in his business. He is only interested in his business. The APC, Egbekegbe came in. They started targeting those businesses. They started making laws or pronouncements that continue to target those businesses. Then Igbo people started paying attention. Like, this never used to be like this. So they were doing everything. In APC, Egbekegbe, there are Igbos in APC, Egbekegbe. But they have always been put at the back burner. Yeah, they are inconsequential. But before then, apart from being president or anything, the Igbos have been sort of, they've been given a lot of bigger roles in this, what is called the nation building, to the point that it was so difficult to see the marginalization per se. When I say bigger role, right, responsibilities, this and that, despite the marginalization of development, like I said, when they are building rail lines or upgrading railways in other parts of Nigeria, Igbo land is never considered. When they are building highways, reconstructing highways across Nigeria, Igbo land was never considered. But people didn't really see it then, because those guys back then, they were able to hide it. That when Nnamdi Kanu started pointing out all of this, some of them didn't take him serious. In fact, some of those who later became Nnamdi Kanu's supporters and believers, they never liked him. Until APC, Egbekegbe came. And they themselves started seeing the proper state-sponsored profiling against them, against their businesses. And they were like, oh, this thing actually exists. Oh, Nnamdi has been saying the truth, Sha. We need to rise, we need to stand up, we need to support him. APC, Egbekegbe, burnt every deception, all the deceits about one Nigeria. They burnt everything down, and it became so clear. Everybody got to see where they belong. But the coping mechanism of the Igbo elite, Igbo politicians, is unimaginable. It's unbelievable that they will rather just keep quiet. And in fact, some of them would rather milk it by becoming the house nigger for these rogues. Yeah, show them. Our people are troublemakers. It's true. We have been telling our people that they need to respect other people. Yeah, your people have been coexisting with everyone before APC, Egbekegbe came. But suddenly, you started seeing Igbos agreeing with their own traducers. That it is true. Our people we are very loud. Once we make money, we'll be. What the heck? So we call those ones who are like enabling them. They are enabling an institutionalized racism, institutionalized profiling against their own people. So Nnamdi Kanu they took him to their courts. He defeated them in their courts. He didn't get the support of the Igbos, Igbo elite, but the Igbo common men and women. When I say I'm talking about like the ones who don't even have any closeness or leverages with political power. You know what I mean? They were able to see through what Nigeria has been doing to them. It became clearer. So what should we do? What can we do? We have to support Nnamdi. We need to bond together. We don't know how far these guys are going to go, but we need ourselves. We need each other. But we need one another. So there is so much division between the normal Igbos in the majority and their elite, the political class, to the point that when the Fulani terrorists invaded Igbo land, kidnapping the Igbos, collecting ransoms, killing them. The Igbo elite, the Igbo politicians, they were offering peace offering to the murderers, to the terrorists. But Nnamdi was like, no, you can't do that. You can't bow your head for these murderers. The more you bow your head, they will chop your head off. But the elite prefer that because it gives them power. They could hold on to power, even if their land is being ravaged. I'm using this because this is the reality. This is the truth. The insecurity in eastern part of Nigeria is politically sponsored. And Nigeria is like, you know what? Continue there. We'll rather just let you finish yourselves. Kind of. Because it serves the purpose. If the Igbos are indestructible, maybe we can just let them do it themselves and destroy themselves that way. The political class sponsoring this violence, in a way, they are happy that Nnamdi Kanu is out of the picture. So the federal government of Nigeria, who has this institutionalized racism against them, is like, you know what? We can just add petrol to it for you. Let's send more military to that place, militarize the whole place, and continue to harass them, assault them, and possibly continue to make them disappear. The elite actually wanted it anyway. Just give a dog bad name to hang it. So this union is a fraud. The Igbos are not welcome in that union. It is so obvious. And that is why they would rather keep him as a trophy. I've said that many times. They are keeping him as a trophy to satisfy some group of murderers, terrorist sponsor in northern Nigeria. Buhari couldn't try him. He couldn't jail him. They just have to lock him up. But the Igbo billionaires who owns banks, who have shipping lines, who have pharmaceutical companies, billionaires like that, including their billionaire politicians, oil moguls, they would rather not have anything to do or what have you with him. Because his message, his stand, is going to pit them against Nigeria. And to them, they are likely going to lose everything else they have acquired. So even if their people continue to be in that state-sponsored, bondage, it doesn't matter. Ikenga, finish what you are saying.
Because this issue is causing instability in our place. Farming activities is zero. Businesses are going down. Most people are no longer returning back. So resolving it starts with, okay, political solution, we'll give him bail. Then we'll go to the table and look at the issue. There's issues that led to those agitation. Those issues have been with us since 1960. Democratic leaders now worsened with so much hypocrisy and incompetency and so on and so forth. They were now flashing it in our face like we don't belong. It's not about Nnamdi Kanu. Even if we take out Nnamdi today, the other generation that is coming are also having the same feeling rooted in their hearts. You see, have another person rise up. So finding a solution to them, a permanent solution should be the concern of every genuine leader. Because for how long are you going to keep treating people like that and expect them to believe? In this era of technological advancements, social media and everything, information moves so fast. So it's not the way you can hide informations. People have opinions based on your actions. And coming from somebody who has fought the Deco days, democracy, inclusion, and so on and so forth, I'm just surprised that we're still having this conversation 1 year or going to 2 years in office. Just because of Abiola's election that was robbed. They floated the Deco, they fought. Some of them were charged for treason. There was bomb blast that time, remember? Even though there was accusation whether it was Abacha that was throwing the bomb or it was in the Deco people, them Tinubu were throwing it. There were the same transmitter Nnamdi Kanu was using. Fire meet them and Tinubu, we had their own transmitter, radio Kudra, radio this. They were transmitting into the airways because they said they wanted the mandate to be restored. Now these people are asking for justice, equity, and fairness. The same thing. So what to do? The Nedeko issue and the bail issue was resolved by compensating them with allowing them to run for the presidency by almost all the key stakeholders. Since that time, they have ruled almost 2 times now. But nobody cares about our own people. So how do you think the young people are feeling down there? They feel disconnected. They feel angry. In a country that they are working so hard for. All they are asking is for justice, equity, and fairness. That's what this selective application of democracy, selective application of the justice system, selective application of political opportunities, selective application of the electoral, everything that has to do with the East the method is different. Even the way you mount roadblock in the East, like is an Afghanistan that America just left from. From just Asaba, you be coming from Abuja, 1 or 2 checkpoints. By the time you get to Asaba, you are trying to cross the river Niger. From that place to where you see 48 checkpoints. What are you doing there? See, crime is still everywhere. It has turned into a toll collecting point for police or security agencies who are on those roads. Extorting the people, making them feel like you just want to annihilate them at all costs from all fronts. So these things are wrong. And like I said before, a true nationalist will focus and believe that equity, justice, and fairness is the fulcrum and the foundation for a united and peaceful country. Anybody that is talking about peaceful country without discussing the sacred core principles of justice, equity, and fairness is talking nonsense. You cannot have a united country, you cannot have a stable country without sitting down to address these core principles of justice, equity, and fairness. Not just by addressing it, but showing it in your body language and conduct. Today, you have a country that the Igbo man is not chief of army staff. The Igbo man is not IG. The Igbo man is not DG of DSS. The Igbo man is not customs CG. The Igbo man is not immigration head. The Igbo man is not central bank. The Igbo man is not finance minister. The Igbo man is not federal inland revenue. The Igbo man is not director of military intelligence. The Igbo man is not NSA. But still, they still believe. All they are asking is not even you should share those things with them, but restore peace in our place. Consider it a matter of national importance that peace will return to the East. We want it to make that a priority. That's all our people are asking for. And that we're not getting it up to now. So it's not that anybody hates anybody or no. The hand with which you extend, that's one we should receive. They are giving us bitter lemon every day. Look at the infrastructure in our place. Look at our major highways in the East. Look at our markets. Look at our energy situation. Look at the employment rate of our people in civil service. Look at the business opportunities available. Everything is self-help for our people. Business, building, everything. Even rehabilitation of our people that have been displaced since this crisis has started. Not even single one person. The Igbos are builders. The Igbos are nationalists. That is why they invest in every part of Nigeria. Just show them by your body language that though tongue, religion, everything will differ. But in this our brotherhood, we will rise, we are one.
But that is not going to happen. Right? There's nothing that Nnamdi Kanu is doing that the likes of Tinubu didn't do. They went on to go and become governors and even presidents in that contraption. Tinubu once said that he didn't believe in Nigeria because it doesn't believe in that contraption. It's just a business center that everyone just wait for their own turn. There was no internet then, but they had the radio Kudirat in London, where they are transmitting from and transmitting into Nigeria. talking about all the shit about Nigeria, talking about how Nigeria is this and that, and Yorubas must be ready to break away from Nigeria. The person who led that became the governor. He became minister. He became governor of Ekiti State. He became two-time minister in Nigeria. Kayode Fayemi. Tinubu that said he didn't believe in Nigeria. He became two-time governor. He is your president now. So if all these guys have said all the kind of things about Nigeria before, they should know better, shouldn't they? But because it is Nigeria, the real problem is Igbo problem. I have said this before. I am a Yoruba man, okay? And, you know, no matter what I say about that contraption, no matter what name I call that contraption, if I take off this shirt tomorrow, and I decided that, okay, I want to be the governor of Ogun State. If I join their clique of rogues and criminals, I can be governor of Ogun State. Yeah. Forget about everything I have said about the contraption. An Igbo man can be doing all the nice things, all the best, you know what I mean? But being an Igbo man, who is a one Nigerianist, pro-Nigeria, saying all the nice, best things about Nigeria and all of that stuff, if I stand and they put that Igbo man next to me, I will say, okay, I belong to the clique of these rogues, right? As a Yoruba man, I will get a free pass. That Igbo man will be dumped because it's an Igbo man. That is what the contraption is all about. It is a fake union that everyone knows is fake. But you just have to find your own space in it and continue to pretend that it is not. Those who claim to hate Nigeria, they are those who have had the chance of ruling Nigeria. Those who have publicly said it. The Babangida, Abacha, Muritala, who else again is there? Gowon, who else is there? Yeah, all these guys, even Bokwari, when they carried out their counter coup of 1966, they ran back to the north. They said they were going to declare their own republic, Araba Republic. Araba, we are breaking up. Araba, on Araba we stand. Before they told them that, don't try it, now go suffer. And then they nominated Gowon to come and be the head of the military, which then led Nigeria into a genocidal war. Read your history. These are people who don't believe in that contraption. Immediately they carried out their revenge coup, killed Igbo officers in different barracks in Nigeria, in Lagos. They marched them out and they killed them. They were expecting war from the east. They ran back to northern Nigeria. Quick. They left Lagos. They ran away. And they were about to declare, in fact, when Gowon was reading his military coup speech, a section of it showed that they were succeeding from Nigeria. They were breaking away from Nigeria, that they are not part of Nigeria anymore. They were dragged back in to come and destroy that contraption. The likes of Tinubu and Co in Nadeko, they were asking for the breakup of Nigeria. So what happened after? Look at them today. They are now pro-Nigeria. But look at what they are doing to Nigeria. It is not a balanced union. It is a fake union. And if you are an Igbo person that didn't know that probably didn't know that, you are probably dumber than what anybody can imagine. You are stupid and more than what you can. If you join them in condemning Nnamdi Kanu, you are dafty. That you don't know. You are a stupid person. Feeding fat on whatever propaganda they are feeding you. These are the people who actually hate Nigeria. They hate Nigeria more than all of you. They will tell you to hate on yourself, justify whatever we do against any of you and all of that, and you will believe them. It is a fake union. There's no one Nigeria. There are many Nigerias. That's what you have. You don't have one Nigeria. You have many Nigerians. I'll leave that. Okay. And we hope that somehow common sense, which is not common, will prevail. But to those who are saying that Nnamdi Kanu will rot there, don't worry. Let him rot there, Abi. What you are going to get is going to be, it's going to be worse than what you can imagine. For now, you may think those who are coming after Nnamdi Kanu are probably going to remain in eastern Nigeria. No. A set of Igbo, a new Igbo sort of awakening is coming once you push this to the wall. You haven't pushed it to the wall yet. Nigeria hasn't pushed or pressed that destructive button yet. But there's going to be a new, I am projecting it now, prophesying it to you. There will be a new Igbo awakening. And that new Igbo awakening is going to capture Nigeria in the most unprecedented way. You are going to see the new Igbos, new Biafrans, that will actually now bring the war to our doorsteps. It's not going to be in the eastern Nigeria. It's going to be actually fought in northern Nigeria, in western Nigeria, across length and breadth of Nigeria. It's not going to be what they are cooking in the eastern Nigeria that is called unknown gunmen, unknown this and that, and other rubbish. There will be a new Igbo awakening that is no longer going to be about business or protecting the investment, this and that. No. All of that will suddenly just disappear. And once you begin to see the sign that all this Igbos for, right? Business here, business there, and all of that. Some of you are even threatening them. If they try nonsense, you go after them. You will burn down their businesses. You will have no Igbo business to burn. You won't have any of their businesses to burn. They will burn down Nigeria. That awakening is coming. Remember that when they were carrying out the genocide in eastern part of Nigeria, the whole eastern region, some of you were doing Owambe in Lagos. You are getting married. You are doing your party left, right, and center. The northern part of Nigeria, everybody is having fun, marriage, and all of that, while they are shelling the people of eastern Nigeria. When the new Igbo awakening begins, it will be a direct war in those lands. And I don't know how to describe it to you, but don't worry. Just keep pushing, because there is a generation that is never going to be like their own ancestors. That generation will know that the only way the Nigeria will let the Igbos go is when they actually take the war to those of you who are enablers, ignoring what is really happening in the eastern part of Nigeria. The systemic profiling, institutionalized racism, right? Tribalism in that contraption. There is going to be a generation of theirs, all right? That is actually going to asymmetric. It's called asymmetric. Is that called asymmetric war? It won't be fought in eastern Nigeria. It will be fought outside Igbo land. I'm just saying it to you. I don't know. You don't have to believe me. But let these thoughtless, brainless maniacs, useless criminal leaders that you have, let them continue. Okay? Let them continue. If anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu, you will see a new Igbo awakening. And those of you who are the Igbo billionaires, elites in Lagos, in Abuja, who believes that your wealth is so safe and secured, it won't be. I'll leave it at that.
Welcome to Shamra Seniors TV.